She looked me right in the eye, without a shred of shame, without a hint of guilt, and said, "Cowan, if you want to come with me, you'll have to wait. My date is already here." And it was in that instant, at that precise moment, as I watched her walk to the door and leave with another man, that I made the quietest, most painful, and, without knowing it then, the most powerful decision of my life: to leave the country and never look back. Before we continue, if you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been made to feel small, like you were the last option on someone's list, stay. This story is pure justice, served not hot, but ice cold by time. Hit like, comment what you would do in my place, and subscribe for more stories where revenge isn't imagined, it's executed. My name is Cowan, and for a long time, maybe too long, I thought love was a matter of insisting, of having infinite patience, of proving my worth every day. I believed that if I was good enough, loyal enough, understanding enough, she would finally see what she had right in front of her. But what I learned, what truly woke me up from that self-imposed coma, was discovering that there are people who don't want love. They want admiration. They want options. They want to feel the power of having someone waiting on the bench. I was her safest, weakest option, the plan B that would always be there. I was with Leah for almost 3 years. 3 years in which I honestly loved her. And I thought she loved me too, in her own way. She was attentive when she wanted to be, affectionate when it suited her, but there was always something else, a shadow in the back of her eyes that I couldn't decipher. Until one day that shadow stopped hiding. The betrayal didn't start that night. It wasn't an isolated act. It started long before. It started when her replies to my good morning messages turned into a simple scene. It started with the small excuses: "I'm tired, Cowan, let's talk tomorrow." "I have too much work, I can't see you today." Then the awkward, cold, heavy silences in the car arrived, where the air felt like you could cut it with a knife. And finally, that emotional distance set in, that abyss that announces a cruel and inevitable end. Me, the idiot, tried to justify her to myself. "She's stressed from work. It's just a rough patch. These are normal phases in a long relationship." But the truth was right there, blatant, dancing in front of me, and I refused to see it, out of fear of losing her, out of fear of loneliness. The day everything changed. One Friday night, after a week of barely seeing each other, I invited her to dinner. Something simple, intimate, at our favorite little Italian restaurant, the place we celebrated our first anniversary. I wanted to reconnect, to talk, to save what was left. Her reply was a text message: "I can't today. I have something important to do." "Work?" I asked, my heart still clinging to hope. She smiled, or at least, I imagined her ironic smile on the other side of the phone. "No, that's date." My heart stopped. Literally. I felt a weight in my chest that stole my breath, a cold that froze me from the inside. "A date?" I typed, my hands shaking. "But what about us? What's happening with us, Leah?" Her reply came minutes later, cold, surgical, without anesthesia. "Look, Cowan, let's be honest, you and I aren't anything serious. We never really were. And honestly, you don't give me the excitement I look for in a man. You're nice, you're stable, but you're unpredictable." She didn't yell. She didn't insult me. It was worse. She told me the truth, her truth, with a coldness that completely disarmed me. And then, as if that wasn't enough, she finished it: "I'm going out with him now. If you want to come over after, when I'm done, you can wait for me at my apartment. But I'm going with him first." That sentence, "You can wait for me," that sentence killed me. It reduced me to a lapdog, a midnight option. And at the same time, it woke me up. The quietest decision of my life. I didn't argue. I didn't send her an angry message. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I got up from the sofa. I looked at my reflection in the dark TV screen and saw a man I didn't recognize, a pale, defeated man. I turned my back on that reflection. And I left. I went for a walk, wandering aimlessly through the cold city streets. But as I walked, as the freezing air hit my face, I felt something ignite inside me. Something I had never felt so strongly before. It wasn't just pain. It was strength. It was courage. It was boundaries. That same night, I got to my apartment at 3 in the morning. Without telling anyone, not my family, not my friends, I opened my laptop. I went on international job portals. I had always wanted to work abroad, to specialize in my field of architecture, but I never had the courage to leave my comfort zone. Leah had always been my excuse not to take a risk. Now, she had become my reason to do it. I applied to every job offer in Europe that remotely matched my profile. Portugal, Spain, Germany. I sent my portfolio, updated my resume with a feverish determination. Within 48 hours, I received a response. A renowned architecture firm in Lisbon, Portugal, wanted to interview me via video call. The next day, I did it. And the rest It was as if God, seeing me finally make a decision for myself, had moved every piece on the board in my favor. They offered me the position. An incredible position, with a salary that doubled what I was earning here. The departure. 1 week after that fateful night, I had a signed contract and a one-way plane ticket. Leah never knew. She didn't call, she didn't write. She was too busy with her date. And frankly, I was no longer interested in telling her. The day before my flight, I sent her one last text message. Short, precise. Thank you for showing me who you really were. Now it's my turn to choose. Take care. She didn't reply. The message was left on seen. It was obvious she didn't care anymore. But the wonderful thing was discovering that I didn't care either. I turned off that phone and, the next day, I got on a plane towards my new life. Rebirth. Portugal didn't just welcome me with open arms. It transformed me. A new country. A new language to learn, though similar. A new life. New friends, people from all over the world. A challenging job that completely absorbed me. A salary I never imagined earning. And with it, came mental freedom, emotional peace. And most importantly, I got my dignity back. I got back the Cowan who had gotten lost trying to please someone who was impossible to please. Sometimes, the most powerful and satisfying revenge is absolute silence. It's disappearing. It's thriving in secret, right where they thought they were going to bury you. I grew so much professionally and personally in those years that, in a short time, I was already leading international projects for the firm. I became more confident, stronger. The gym became my therapy. My body changed. My way of dressing changed. The way I spoke changed. I was a different man. A man that she, Leah, would never have chosen in the first place, because, simply put, that new me would never have even looked at someone like her. The return no one expected. 3 years later, I returned to Brazil. Not for her, but to visit my family, who was now proud of the man I had become. And it was there, on that visit, that something happened, something I didn't plan, but that destiny seemed to have written with a golden pen. I was in a cafe in the trendiest neighborhood of the city, waiting for my sister. And I saw her. Yeah. She was sitting alone at a table, stirring a coffee with a lost look in her eyes. She was thinner, pale, with dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't cover. The elegant clothes had been replaced by something simpler, almost worn. Her hair, once always perfect, looked dull. And her expression, that haughty, confident expression, had been replaced by one I had never seen on her, regret. She saw me. She recognized me. Or rather, she recognized the ghost of me. She almost dropped the bag she was carrying. She just stared at me, dumbfounded. Cow, is that you? Hello, Leah, I replied, calm, firm, without moving from my chair. She looked me up and down, scanning me, noticing the well-tailored suit, the watch, the confidence in my posture. You look incredible. I didn't know. Where were you? What happened to you? I smiled. A slight smile, not mocking, but with the same coldness she had used to destroy me years ago. I was living the life I deserve. The life I always wanted but for some reason didn't dare to pursue. Her eyes filled with tears. Cowan, I made the worst mistake of my life. I was so stupid. I thought that guy, German, I thought it would all be different. But he just played with me. He left me after a few months. I just looked at her. Without hate. Without love. Without nostalgia. Indifference, I learned, is the purest and most definitive form of freedom. Cal, can we talk? She said, her voice breaking. Maybe. I don't know, we could start over. Have a coffee. I slowly shook my head. No, Leah. I'm not a plate of leftovers to be reheated. The person you let go of that night, that version of me who was willing to wait for you, he doesn't exist anymore. He died. She cried openly. I simply got up, paid for my coffee, and kept walking without looking back. The silent revenge. I didn't post photos of my success on social media for her to see. I didn't show off my new job. I didn't humiliate her in public as she had done to me in private. My revenge was living a life so good, so full, so happy, that she, upon seeing it, could never attain it. And sometimes, it's that simple and that complex. God moves you away from people that you, out of your good heart or your weakness, would never have had the courage to leave, because He knows your future is infinitely greater than the wounds of your past. But the story has one last twist, a revelation that showed me my departure wasn't just my decision, but a divine intervention. Months after that meeting in the cafe, I ran into an old mutual friend, Anna. She told me the complete truth of what happened after I left. Leah, devastated after being left by German, the guy from the date, tried to go back to her normal life, but something had changed. German hadn't just left her, he had scammed her. It turns out German had huge gambling debts. During the months he was with Leah, he manipulated her into taking out loans in her name, into using her credit cards, promising her a future together abroad. When I left, when Leah lost him, she was left not only heartbroken, but with a crippling debt that forced her to sell her car, move to a tiny apartment, and lose that status she valued so much. The date she despised me for, that act of arrogance, was the beginning of her own financial and social ruin. My decision to leave, to disappear, wasn't just my salvation. It was the act that took away her safety net, the plan B, me, and forced her to face the direct consequences of her actions. When Anna told me this, I didn't feel joy. I felt a deep sense of cosmic justice. She chose me last, and I, by leaving, chose myself first. That was the moment I got back everything I had lost. My strength, my self-esteem, my voice. Life showed me that when someone treats you like a simple option, you have the divine right to disappear completely and become an unforgettable lesson. I understood that the fairest, most perfect revenge is personal growth, and that our Lord Jesus doesn't want us to live begging for scraps of love from someone who doesn't value us. He wants us to walk with dignity, with forgiveness in our hearts, but also with a firm purpose. I forgave Leah. Not for her, as she might not have deserved it. I forgave her for me, to release that final anchor. And I forgave her because Jesus, who is returning soon, wants to find us with clean hearts, with no debts of hatred. What was the most elegant revenge you've seen in your life? The kind that didn't need screaming, only time? Write it down below in the comments. And remember, subscribe for more stories where justice, sooner or later, is served, and above all, accept Jesus into your life, because he is returning. Forgive, because forgiveness liberates. Grow, because growth heals. And trust, because he transforms every wound into a testimony.